Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda, and now today, I'm here with you with the rest of my November TBR / pile of possibilities. And the reason why I say the rest is because I've already done the video for Nonfiction November and what I want to read for Nonfiction November. I will link that down below so you can go see that as far as the nonfiction. But I am not just going to be reading nonfiction. So I wanted to go through some other books I'm either going to read or hope to read. And oh, there's one right here. Gotta get it. And I'm also going to do my dice game to choose another book to sit on my TBR bookshelf and not get read. We're still working on that. Anyway, so I'm going to start with 3 books that I am definitely going to read in the month of November. The first is my Agatha Christie for the month, which is Towards Zero. This has to do with tennis, and it is a standalone book. I will read the back of it for you. What is the connection among a failed suicide attempt, a wrongful accusation of theft against a schoolgirl, and the romantic life of a famous tennis player? To the casual observer, apparently nothing. But when a house party gathers at Gull's Point, the seaside home of an elderly widow, earlier events come to a dramatic head. As Superintendent Battle discovers, it is all part of a carefully laid plan for murder. So it's not a standalone, it's a Superintendent Battle book. They are currently filming an adaptation of this. I don't know how imminently that is going to be released, but there is going to be a new adaptation of this book. I think in the US, it'll probably be on BritBox. I think it's a BBC production. But I read an Agatha Christie book every month. I'm reading it in roughly chronological order. So this is my November book. And there you go. The next 2 books I have, actually, the next 3 books I have are all by Indigenous authors because November is Indigenous Peoples Month. But the next 2 are definites and they're buddy reads. The first one is The Mighty Red by Louise Erdrich, who's one of my absolute favorite authors. I love Louise Erdrich, and I will be buddy reading this with Angelia at Read and Reread. So Angelia, the day I'm filming this, Angelia messaged me and said that she sent back her Amazon copy of this book to get a Barnes & Noble copy that didn't have this little Read with Jenna book that they feel needs to be on there. And I was like, well, I would do that, except my copy, which I got at Birchbark, is signed. But yes, so I have been holding on to this book, just like chomping at the bit to read this book. Emily, the Book Cougars, she has read it and I think she's enjoyed it. I will be honest, I've like kind of tuned out what she's been saying about it because I don't want to be spoiled, but I have heard her say that she enjoyed it. So there's a recommendation for it. And then the next book I don't have a copy of because I'm getting it from the library. And this is one that I am going to be reading with Sarah at Roadworthy. We haven't decided when in November, but maybe the end of the month, maybe, just because the month is crazy. And this one is Son of a Trickster by Eden Robinson. So Sarah and I, this year, each quarter, we've been trying to read a book by an Indigenous author in the Pacific Northwest. She lives in Washington State. I live in Oregon. So this one is actually written by an author from British Columbia. There aren't that many Indigenous authors in the Pacific Northwest, thanks to, cholera and smallpox and whatever. That's true. There just isn't. So, but there are more in British Columbia, so we've expanded to it. She is, she's a member of the Haisla and Heiltsuk First Nations. And I don't know anything about this book, so I'm just going to read the synopsis of it. Everyone knows a guy like Jared, the burnout kid in high school who sells weed cookies and has a scary mom who's often wasted and wielding some kind of weapon. Jared does smoke and drink too much, and he does make the best cookies in town, and his mom is a mess, but he's also a kid who has an immense capacity for compassion and an impulse to watch over people more than twice his age. And he can't rely on anyone for consistent love and support, except for his flatulent pit bull, baby killer, he calls her baby, and now she's dead. Okay, any book with a flatulent pit bull, it's gotta be good, right? Jared can't count on his mom to stay sober and stick around to take care of him. He can't rely on his dad to pay the bills and support his new wife and stepdaughter. Jared is only 16, but feels like he is the one who must stabilize his family's life, even look out for his elderly neighbors. But he struggles to keep everything afloat, and sometimes he blacks out, and he puzzles over why his maternal grandmother has never liked him, why she says he's the son of a trickster, that he isn't human. Mind you, ravens speak to him, even when he's not stoned. So yeah, it is a YA novel. We'll see how that goes. As I said before, YA is a little hard for me because I go into mom mode. This sounds like it should be okay. It's removed enough. Plus I can focus on the indigenous aspect of it. So that is my other definite. Now I'm trying to keep this kind of short because I have Nonfiction November too, but I do have a Pile of Possibilities book. And that is this one that I just picked up at Powell's and then canceled my holds on it at the library. And that is Where They Last Saw Her by Marcie R. Rendon. So Marcie R. Rendon is an indigenous author from North Dakota. Let me see if I can remember if it says where she's a citizen of the White Earth Nation. She is the author of the Cash Black Bear series, which I've read the first two. There's 3 out. I've read the first 2. I have the 3rd one on my Kobo. And this one is not in the Cash Black Bear series. So let me read the back of this. This is a mystery, by the way. Quill has lived on the Red Pine Reservation in Minnesota her whole life. She knows what happens to women who look like her. Just a girl when Jimmy Skye jumped off the railway bridge and she ran for help. Quill realizes now that she's never stopped running. And she trains for the Boston Marathon. Early one morning in the woods, she hears a scream. When she returns to search the area, all she finds are tracks and a single beaded earring. Things are different now for Quill than when she was a lonely girl. Her friends, Punk and Galen, are 2 women who don't know what it means to quit. Her loving husband, Crow, and their beautiful 2 children challenge her to be better every day. So when she hears a second woman has been stolen, she is determined to do something about it, starting with investigating the group of men working the pipeline construction just north of their homes. As Quill closes in on the truth about the missing woman, someone else disappears. In her quest to find justice for all the women of the reservation, she is confronted with the hard truths of their home and the people who purport to serve them. When will she stop losing neighbors, friends, and family? As Quill puts everything on the line to make a difference, the novel asks searing questions about bystander culture, the reverberations of even one act of crime, and the long-lasting trouble of being considered invisible. So clearly this deals a lot with the tragedy epidemic of Native women disappearing. So I really like Marcie R. Rendon. Cash Black Bear has been a good series for me, not perfect. This sounds very promising. So there you go. So that's what I have, but now it is time for the TBR game. For those of you, now some people have really complicated TBR games that I love to watch, but I have no clue how they work. Mine is really easy. Let me get my little diagram. It does have a diagram. I know, Angelia teases me about that. I say it's really easy, but there's a diagram. I have 3 colored dice here. I have red, blue, and green. So I'm gonna roll these all at once. And then here's the diagram of my TBR bookshelves. The blue dice will tell me what corner I start from. So this one's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I should do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The green will tell me how far up, how many rows up or down I go. And if I get this one has 5, let's say I get a 6, then I go to the next one. It works that way. And then the red tells me how many books I go in. So let's see here. Okay. Uh-oh, wait. There was a wrinkle on my tablecloth and that didn't work. Let's do another roll here. Okay. So I have 2, 3, 1. So I am going to start up here. I'm going to go down 3 shelves and in 1. So hold tight. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. And this is really providential because I got another Indigenous book. I have The Road Back to Sweetgrass by Linda LeGarde Grover. Let me read the back. Set in northern Minnesota, this novel follows a trio of American Indian women from the 1970s to the present, observing their coming of age and the intersection of their lives as they navigate love, economic hardship, loss, and changing family dynamics. That's what this book is. So we'll see. This one probably has a good chance of getting, well, we'll see. Nonfiction November takes up a lot. But that is another Indigenous book to read. So before I go, I realized I forgot to mention a book on my TBR for this month. I always forget one, but at least this one I remembered it before the video was over. And you guys have seen this one before. In fact, I said I was going to read it last month, and it's back again, and that's Hill Women by Cassie Chambers. The reason this is back is because Kim at Kim's Book Life and I are going to buddy read it. We were originally going to read it in October, and things happened and we had to push it back, so now it's a November book. But yeah, this one too. So you'll also see this one this month. Definitely getting read. this month. Yes. Okay. That's it. Thank you very much for joining me. Like, subscribe, join my Discord, and tell me something that you're reading, planning to read at least in November. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.